Hello everyone, I'm Pat Mayer. I'm the current president of FCLCA. I met many of you yesterday on our visits, and I just wanted to take a minute to say good morning and welcome. We're going to get started. Just in case you didn't know already, outside the door to your right are the restrooms. We have some other announcements coming as we move forward. So my job this morning is first and foremost to thank our host institutions. So we can just give a big round of applause to all the people who work so hard. I've been saying since yesterday and this morning, the people who got this together, many people worked very hard, and many of us went on some great visits yesterday, and it was just so smooth, it was quite amazing. So thank you to all the people who made that work. I noticed all the signs coming into campus. It was very easy to find a place to park, and the balloons. All of that is just so helpful. So again, many thanks to the people who really thought about getting everyone organized and in the right place at the right time. This is the second annual FCLCA conference, in case you didn't know. We're a very young organization, but we are on the move, and we have lots and lots of people volunteering to help us, and you're going to hear a little bit more about that today too, so we're encouraging the help. I do want to acknowledge we have a representative from the National Association, a board member, David Reedy, who is back here at the NCLCA table. So if you'll say hello to David, and also if you're not an NCLCA member or don't know a lot about NCLCA, he'd be glad to tell you we are an affiliate of that national organization, and I encourage you to get involved. I've been involved in NCLCA since I've been in this field, and it is a terrific organization, and we're very happy to be an affiliate under that umbrella.
We're very happy to celebrate our oldest child's second birthday today too, so thank you for being part of the association.
Yes, by the way, Florida, we were the first affiliate to organize under NCLCA. It was Florida's brainchild, and there are now 3. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later as well. Okay, so I'd like to introduce Jennifer Liebergau, who is our current Vice President and incoming President.
Welcome. We are incredibly excited to have you here at Broward College celebrating our second birthday, as David put it. And I also want to take a point of privilege to thank the amazing people. This is my second year serving as Vice President, and part of that responsibility has been the chair of the conference. Last year was really easy because the conference was up in Tallahassee, so I let all the Tallahassee folks from Florida State and Florida A&M and TCC really do most of the work, and I just got some of the credit for it. But this year, being involved down here, I knew I was going to have to take a larger role, and really, there were 17 folks on our local arrangements planning committee, and they just did a spectacular job. If you look around from the signage, the programs, the website, Yeshua did an incredible job. He's on the phone, busy now, taking care of little details. But our folks from Broward College, from Esmeralda and Farah and Marlene and Monique and David, and I'm forgetting other people, Travis, you guys have been spectacular in getting folks involved with this. Our friends from Nova, we were really excited to get you on board, Lisa and Gail and Courtney yesterday. And of course our neighbors at Palm Beach State, Elizabeth and Helena and Latanya and even Deborah, our troublemaker of the group. And my folks from Florida Atlantic University, other duties is assigned is the biggest part of your job description. And Ronald and Ming and Carol and Kevin, who's in here with us today, you have been amazing. So a huge thanks to our local arrangements folks. I know that Pat mentioned them earlier, but I couldn't let the day go by without thanking them. Also, our vendors who are here, hopefully some of you have got a chance to speak with some of them today. You'll hear from some of them later. We could not make this conference happen without your support. If you liked things like lunch yesterday, dinner last night, breakfast today, and I know you like lunch today. We would not be feeding you off of the cost of your registration, as well as we have been without the support that they've provided. So please, after breakfast and after our welcome this morning and during lunch today, we'll have plenty of time to go and visit the vendors who are here. Also, they have ads in your program as well as the guidebook app. So go ahead and please at least take a look at what they have to offer to help us, all of us in learning support, do a better job in serving our students. Important announcement, Wi-Fi. So if you all want to get onto Wi-Fi, I know a lot of folks have been trying to get on. I have the key for you to get into Wi-Fi. So if you want to take out your whatever tablets and phones that you have, or just a piece of paper to write down this very important information. When you log on and it asks you for Wi-Fi, you will select BC Public. And Esmeralda, you'll have to stop me if I'm wrong here. When you go on to BC Public, it's going to bring up a page and you're going to go under Student. And under Student, the key pieces. The, username is going to be S as in Sam, C as in, what do they say, Pat? This is on the spot thinking, right? H as in Harry, U as in umbrella, D as in dog, S as in Sam. SCHUDS. And then the password is 021971, a fine year, 1971. Some good people made that year. Everyone got that? Anyone need to repeat it? All right. SCHUDS 021971. Each of you should have had at your table a little very fancy piece of paper. You can tell Yeshua did not create this. This was my work. These are for lunch. So last night our theme of the conference is collaboration. So we put you guys kind of outside your comfort zone at dinner, sitting with folks maybe who you have not met from institutions, maybe you've never had the opportunity to work with before. And hopefully, I know at our table we had some really fun, awesome conversation, and hopefully you had that as your table, at your tables as well. Well, for lunch today, we're going to try something a little bit different, and we're going to have topics on these different tables that you'll be at. And the hope is that you'll look through these topic lists and find a topic that you might be interested in, either sharing some of your expertise or finding out more about from some other colleagues at other institutions. So when you come in, you don't have a map of where they'll be. It's wherever the folks who set up lunch decide to put them. But please go ahead and figure out which tables you might be interested in sitting at. Maybe have a backup in case those tables are filled, and find one. We do have a couple of tables that will be just general networking. If you don't have a specific topic that you want to talk about, just need some downtime, that's okay too. But we hope that you'll have that chance. We do have two folks here from University of Missouri, Kansas City, who are involved with the International Center for Supplemental Instruction, so there will be a table if you're interested in learning more about SI. Also, from the wonderful Florida Atlantic University, Brittany Mento, who's the Assistant Director of our Math Learning Center. If you were on the tour, you got to meet her yesterday. She has a program called Learning Assistance that from the University of Colorado Boulder, right? That she's implemented at FAU. So we're going to have a chance to talk about differences between some of these peer-assisted type study programs at one of the tables. There are some great things. Sarah's going to be hosting a table. Sarah's our secretary, since we started, from Florida State University. She's going to be hosting one on best practices based on the work of Frank Christ. So we have some really awesome topics, and I hope that you'll find something that's interesting to you and be part of that. Nasty, how are we doing on time? We're waiting, huh? Okay. I can talk forever, so we're just cutting into Paul's time. We're going to take one more minute. I also want to really recognize our vendors, but we have two very special vendors with us today. During lunch, you'll hear a little bit from McGraw-Hill. How many of your campuses have ALEX? I know FAU is an ALEX school. So McGraw-Hill is going to, they are our gold sponsor of this conference. It's our very first gold sponsor. So they'll be sharing information about what they do. And also Pearson is going to, Pearson Educational Solutions is our bronze sponsor. They actually sponsored the breakfast for us this morning. So we want to thank them. And closing session today. Do not leave before the closing session. At the end of the day today, after the third session, we do have a closing, and at that closing, we will have actually David Reedy from NCLCA will be hosting us really kind of ending the discussion towards the conference on collaboration, but really starting to get your networks built in your local area, and hopefully helping you to find ways beyond leaving this conference today to continue that discussion with some of your colleagues. And we will be giving away, it might not be as cool for those of you who are at the dinner, the door prize. Ronald had a wonderful photo of Fort Lauderdale Pier that was raffled off last night, and we will have lots of raffles during lunch. You guys brought some wonderful door prizes, but we will have this evening at the closing session, we will be raffling off a free complimentary conference registration for the 2016 conference, which will be hosted in Central Florida next spring. So please don't leave before that. I'm going to turn it back to Pat.
Thank you, Jennifer. Well, it is my pleasure to be able to introduce Dr. Avis Proctor, who is the campus president of the Broward Campus North. What's really exciting is that Dr. Proctor has many years of experience as a math educator, so I believe she truly understands what it is that we do, and I believe that she really values our role on all of our campuses. She has been at Broward since the year 2000, and Florida people, she has degrees from Florida A&M. Where are you, Florida A&M? And Florida Atlantic, and Florida International. Why not USF? So please help join me in giving a round of applause and a gracious thank you to Dr. Proctor for all of her support of our being here today.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Broward College North Campus. It's my pleasure to host the conference. I have a wonderful team that approached, I wanted to say it was about a year ago, and we love to host the conference, and when it's all about learning, I certainly was ready and willing to support us hosting such a critical conference in the sense that you guys play a critical role in moving our students to persist and complete their degree programs one course at a time. I have to take the privilege at least to highlight what we do here at North. We have many health science programs. We happen to have an engineering technology program as well. We host the largest junior achievement facility in the world here on this campus. And so that's the plug for North. But our president, our college president, J. David Armstrong, our college provost, Dr. Linda Howdy, shall also send their greetings and welcomes to you. I'm going to just talk about a couple things as it relates to what's going on in higher ed. Technology keeps us even more connected than ever before. Social media, things are happening. We certainly use it as a part of our students' learning experiences here, so I'm sure you're going to hear more about that. We use data in our decision making regularly on a weekly basis. Kay McClenny from the University of Texas at Austin and the Center for Student Engagement, she conducts a lot of national surveys. And so we've done 3 of those here, and in response to that data, we were surveying our faculty as well as what are you doing to engage students in the classroom? And so we had the students' perspectives from the survey, the national survey. We had our faculty members' perspective, and we also surveyed our students here outside of the national survey, and they said they wanted group study. They wanted us to facilitate group study sessions with them. So we've really increased that here in the Learning Center, in our Academic Success Center, as we're calling it now. But I wanted to highlight the fact that we're using research-based, high-impact practices with our students, and I'm sure you're doing that at your institutions as well. I looked at the conference agenda, and I saw that there was a how to get your WIG on session that we're presenting. Of course, our WIG, Wildly Important Goals, that's the weekly analysis of how our students are progressing, and you'll hear more about that if you attend that session. But I also saw another one that said Mindset Matters. And one of the things that I've been doing here is using an annual theme based on research. And we were looking at Dr. Carol Dweck from Stanford University and the work that she really is phenomenal findings that she's sharing with us. And now we're able to really perpetuate that work here at the campus and at the college. And I have a photo I want to show you that not only are we doing in-class innovations to have students be successful, we're also looking at ways outside of the classroom, not only in the Academic Success Center, our learning center here, but also using our physical spaces. So I'm really proud to show this piece. One of our IT staff members sent me an email this week and said, you should see how folks are interacting with this picture. And a child was going up to it, wasn't quite complete at the time, and here was a student taking a picture of it to post on Facebook, at his Facebook page. She sent it to me. And it's a Jim Rohn quote, and I urge you to look at it as you get to your sessions today. But it essentially talks about how trees and the roots, they don't make decisions as far as how, limiting themselves. They dig as deep, as far as they can to reach its maximum potential. The humans, we make choices. We have the dignity of choice. To be the best that we can be, the most that we can be, to fulfill our potential. So we're trying to send that message around mindset and using growth mindset when students approach their problem solving classes and so on, even with our tutors. I'm not going to give up our whole session away, but I know we also did that training session with our tutors. So I charge you with incorporating mindset strategies in the work that you're doing in your institutions. We're seeing a difference already, and students are engaging our physical spaces outside the classrooms as well. So welcome again. Glad to see such a full room here today, and I have to commend, I know you already mentioned earlier some of the staff members that are here, but let's give them a round of applause again. Dr. Jeff Massey. He's out there somewhere. Associate Dean Esmeralda Sweeney. Sweeney, please. Travis Jordan. And that logo, that blue and white logo, was designed here in-house. It's the brain with the bottom of it is like a tree, so it's growing, the brain growing. Yeshua Machado, right there with the camera. His extreme talent when it comes to graphic arts and putting things together on this fly. When I said, can you put a fly together? And he said, sure, and he gets it done. That's his work right there, now impacting not only lives here at the campus, right, but across the college, as well as your institutions ultimately, I believe. And our Honor Student Committee, I'll leave on this note, the president of that committee, she put together workshops for students, and now she's presenting it in colleges around the world. So Dr. Carol Dweck, obviously, it's her work, but now we're finding ways to share that so that students can be successful. Thank you for coming today, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much, Dr. Cocker.
All right. Dr. Cocker, thank you so much for having us at your amazing campus and for giving us the time of your amazing staff, too. And we're excited to have both Esmeralda and Yeshua, who will be part of our FCLCA board that will be announced this afternoon. So we're extremely lucky to have them. I don't know if that's a conflict to have two people, not only from the same institution, but from the same campus on our board, but we are very lucky to have them. It is now my privilege to introduce our keynote speaker for this morning, Dr. Paul Nolting. I actually met Paul back in 2003 when I was at Florida Gulf Coast University at a CAS conference. Actually, our former president of Florida Atlantic University asked me to go to this conference to learn about these peer-assisted study sessions. At the time, I was the director of the Office for Student Retention, which I found out from Vince Tinto that was a terrible name, and we shouldn't be called retention. Our focus should be student success. So we went back and changed our name to student success, but we really didn't have any academic support programs on our campus. So I went to this conference and I went to one of Paul's sessions, and he was presenting on his work that he does, winning at math, and all of this wonderful research that he's done and how he's really focused on math success. A couple of years later, John Gardner came to our campus, and we said to Dr. Gardner, he did an entire evaluation of everything that we're doing for student success. And we said, if you could run FAU for 1 year, what would be the one thing you would focus on? And his response was success of math students. He said, that is our biggest problem at FAU, and we've done amazing things to really try to work on that. Brittany, with our math department and our math learning center, has done a fabulous job, but we still have ways to go. So I haven't heard Dr. Nolting speak, although I've heard from many of you have had him on your campus over the years, and I'm very excited to hear some of the new things that he has to say. Paul's one of us. He is from Florida, has also gone to many of our institutions, whether teaching or getting degrees or working throughout the state of Florida. But he's also a national expert on assessing math and helping students improve in math. So it is with great pleasure that I introduce Dr. Paul Nolting.
Yeah, I was thinking about that when I was walking around and talking to people. I'm going, oh, this is like home week. And people run up to me, talk to me, ask me questions. You know, a couple of went around and asked you. I've learned when I do presentations, whatever the title says, if it's not what you want, it doesn't work. So what I do is I ask you, questions, what we can do, how we can help you out, and things like that. Also, as I went around, I said, wait a minute. I went to Florida State University. Got some degrees there. I actually worked there. And I remember I went to Pensacola at that time, junior college. And I forgot that I actually did a semester back home as I grew up in Pensacola, West Florida. And I remember I actually went to FAMU for a while. So I'm going, I've been around. People help a lot of people. They've helped me. So what we're going to do today, and I think it's already switched over. It's already switched over now. Okay. Is start looking at what we can do to make it more successful. I'm going to talk a little bit about math, and then I'm going to talk more about some other areas. And something happened, so we'll have to wait a minute. Okay, you can take over. What we're going to look at is collaboration and seeing how we can collaborate and work with people. What can we do? How can we help people out? As I started talking to people around tables, I'm hearing concerns, I'm hearing ideas, I'm hearing that I have somebody who knows what they're doing over here and fixing things. I've learned that. I've also learned to find out who knows more than I do and make sure they're on the committee. And also what we're looking at is a change in the whole aspect of math. I'm not going to speak about math. I'm going to speak a little bit about reading in English. One of the major concerns that we're having in math now, especially since a lot of people went to the Emporium model, basically a modular system. We have students in there reading in 5th grade because they don't have to take reading anymore. And it's not a math issue, it's a reading issue. So I have some colleges that are actually mandating different prereqs, which we can't in Florida. So anyway, so basically what we're going to look at today is research. I'm so glad the provost here mentioned research. That was my favorite thing when I got my PhD, statistical research and designs, and figuring out what's going on, and basically data-driven. And I challenge you to go work with your institutional research people. You want to know what's going on. And I'll ask the first research question. Okay, who knows their top 10 enrollment courses with the lowest success rates? Okay, now, how many of them are math? What else is in there? I got to be something else in there. What else is in there? Chemistry? Biology? That's one of my minors. Accounting is it. When I go to colleges, I find out that accounting, is the number one problem in a lot of colleges, not mathematics. And then when we dug down a little deeper, we figured out that accounting teachers weren't accounting teachers. They were reading teachers and math teachers. Because a lot of colleges didn't have any prereqs. Then at the universities, what we found out is that the accounting was a little more detailed. So that's the research. Because you got to know that. Once you have that power, then you're going to help solve problems. You are problem solvers now. You are problem solvers. So we're going to look at research and affective characteristics, which is really growing. Research on the collaboration. What do we need to collaborate with? We're going to look at different ways to do redesigns. I'm going to talk about that a little bit. And who you collaborate with. what our supported services are, basically, and looking at this, how you integrate math study skills and staffing and a bunch of other things, and then looking at the support. So the whole idea is, what are we going to do to work together as a team, even though some of our team members in our colleges don't understand how we can help them. I mean, that's a good way to put it. So we're going to look at this. This is the big picture now. They walk into your learning resource center. They walk into a math class. They walk into an English class. In Florida, we used to be able to do this quite quickly. Now you can't. Basically, half the variance of the grade, that's the cognitive skills and IQ, 50% of the variance is placement. All the research says placement still works, except Florida, right? Well, you got to guess. 25% is quality instruction, which is your labs, your setups. Now the big change is over here. New research out. This is the old Bloom research I quoted a long time ago in my dissertation. I was saying that 25% is anxiety, locus control, study habits. Most recent research out on at least elementary mathematics is this. It's up to 41%. What's 41% of variance mean? If you don't have it, what happens to you? You fail. So that's really getting. So I've seen that trend go further and further. So when you start talking to people, what you're into, a lot of it is over here with the quality instruction, which is part of your training, which you're supposed to do. We got to slide over here, get more of that variance. That variance to help students become more successful, not only in math but everything else. Now, here's the research, because somebody likes research. This is the Readiness Behavior Foundation of Mathematics Course of Success Research. It says number one basically is placement, and number two is study behaviors. Okay? Next one, student success and developmental math, that's that one, and I'll give you these things later on afterwards. They're the one that you added it up as 41% of variance is basically looking at student success and affective characteristics. This is my own correlational study. I did a long time ago when I did my dissertation at the University of South Florida. What we're finding out is that achievement is negatively associated with, of course, anxiety, positively associated with study skills, and positively associated with locus control motivation. I do a lot of national math summits now. I actually started them a long time ago with Hunter Bowling. We thought of this idea. We go around the country at a MATIC and mainly at NAE, and all the board members are looking at how the math is changing across the curriculum. And one thing is sure, students taking math have to be better learners. It doesn't matter if they're in Calc 1 or if they're in elementary algebra. The whole thing is focusing back on the student. The question is, how can we help those students become better learners? And then I start talking about a lot of online products, which are great. I also talk about doing online homework, and our students still think that if I just do the online homework, I'm done. Well, I have students who do the online homework at 100% and they fail the math, right? And who do they blame? Learning Resource Center and the math instructor, because we told them you did all your homework. So we got to get out of these things, start looking at other research and designs, and really help students with that whole idea. And of course, the research on training is pretty clear. I might as well do that right now. You know that Hunter Bowling did research in Texas and other states a long time on tutorial. And when they did the research on tutor and academic achievement, there was no correlation. Got your attention now, didn't I? He couldn't find a correlation with general tutoring and success at all. Then he told me he had to go back and dig a little deeper to figure out if he did that, he'd be out of a job. You know, and everybody would be throwing darts at him. What he found out is he had at least 10 hours of training. And I've been hearing people last night, they're all talking about training now, training. At least a minimum of 10 hours of training, teaching the students not how to do math, not how to do English, not how to do history, but how to interact with the students, how to work with them. Once you keep that 10 hours of training in, math is successful. I've also looked at other correlational studies again with tutoring, and it had a negative correlation. Now think about it. How do you have a negative correlation with tutoring? In other words, they got worse. Well, if you don't practice SI, if you know SI, you know what it is. They do the work. We look at that, and tutors were doing the work for the students. The tutors became enablers, right? They were doing it. They were helping so much. So we got to slap their hands a little bit and have them be more responsible. Now, the positive research is you basically have an opportunity here. It's unreal. You are in the limelight. And I'm going to tell you why as we go through a couple of these models real quick. The contextualized learning, the modularized learning, looking at basic co-curricular, accelerated, compressed, curriculum reform, passive pathways, that's a stat way, math way, quant way, targeting foundation, your tribesman foundation, UT. Hybrids, standard classrooms. As we switch these around, what's happening is that the students need more academic support. Basically, this is your time to shine. This is your time to get your hand out for the money. This is your time to get more resources. Because if the state has set up a curriculum where students aren't going to be successful, then where do we come down to? Your places. I was working with St. Pete. Their vice president said, we're going to boost up the Learning Resource Center. We're going to make it for everybody. We're going to give them more money. We're going to give them more staff. That's happening across the country. So now is the time to say and team up with the math faculty and English and reading too. You're going to have to start doing the reading stuff because we're not going to take a reading class, but we'll come to you and get help. The idea is that we've got to team up, find common ground. And sometimes when I work with math instructors, they're challenging, merely that way. And sometimes when I work with reading instructors, they're not challenging because they already know we can help them out. But we're getting into this whole thing. If I'm doing a modular size system, only modulars, okay, and they're using your facility for that, I have not seen one successful yet. If you start doing modulars and doing pullouts and mandating quotes, going to Learning Resource Center, having study skills integrated, you've got to do a lot more things with these things to help them be successful. Co-curricular, I'm going to get that in a few minutes. Any of you teach SLS classes? Good, you can teach more. Because that's where you can capture them and really help them out. So here are some ideas that we can do. Because my whole idea today is to give you ways to collaborate and help students, help you, help faculty, even though you don't know about it. Collaborating with academic departments, we already do that. Joint workshops. Do they do workshops for you? Do you do workshops for them? That is essential. Are you on their committees? Or even department meetings? Who goes to the English department meeting? Anybody? Good, go. Who goes to the math one? Go. How do you get invited? You ask. We're here to help you. How do you get an invitation? You're going to tell the math department that we understand right now that you're under extreme pressure. And it doesn't matter if you're in community college, state colleges, or universities. Because we know one thing, mainly, is if you pass math, what happens? You graduate. So I had to talk to a lot of presidents going, well, if they don't do well in the math course, kind of who cares? I go, well, look, how many math courses does a student have to fail until they not stop taking math, until they just don't come back? Anybody do that research? Anybody want to guess? Yeah, 2 to 3. 2 to 3, they're gone. Now, what does that really mean? Who's good at statistics? Calculate real quick. How much money did the university or college lose? 100,000? Millions? And it's not the math they're losing. They're not taking history. They're not taking sociology. They're not taking English. So that's how we start approaching now and dealing with people and dealing with administration. It's not just the math and English. It's basically looking at what are we losing besides the humanistic value. I can switch to the humanistic value, but with administrators, I'm doing more the FTEs, that sort of thing. Supported services. Who works with their vets? Who has hired vets as tutors? Good. Who's hired students with disabilities as tutors? Good. Hire more. If you want the people there, you hire the people. When I ran my vet center, I basically had vets working for me. I hired them. I hired the president. Right then I had it in. And it worked out really well. So thinking about that. Student organizations. Presentation, survey, just start looking at things. You're looking at how to team up with these people and work with them and help them. In a few minutes I'll get into the money, how you get the money. When you start looking at basically computer workshop and resources, what are those popular workshops you do that brings the people in? Who wants to say one? Who's popular? Good. What is it? Reading for biology. Now you're going to get into, I'm in trouble with natural sciences. I'm going to do that. How do another one? Time management. I run those. If I can force them there, they'll come. That's a joke, right? They don't have time. No, they don't. What's another one? Test anxiety has been number one. To me, learning styles is another one. How to beat the math test, how to beat the multiple choice test. When you do these, team up with the faculty member if you can in that department. Got it? Because if you team up with them, now you collaborate, and you're going to get in with it. Now, this is going to be a fun time. Acts. You ready? Okay, take out your phone. You got 3 minutes to tell each other how neat are your acts. Not the weird ones. Okay? These are the ones that are for learning. What type of learning apps do you have? What type of apps do you really work with? What type of apps? So in about 3 minutes, look around, start saying, and I'm going to ask a few of you, what are the best apps you can use to help students? Got the mic? Good. Jennifer's gonna have the mic. Okay, what do you got? Somebody yell out some apps. Go in the back. Okay. Yeah. Oh, Jennifer did the trick on. Yep. All the way in the back.
Do I get extra credit for this?
You get an extra book.
Angel.
Okay, what's app?
iTunes U.
Okay, that's good. How can we use it for education?
Oh, they can listen to different lectures. If the person that is lecturing, they can...
Okay, perfect. What's another one? Back over here.
It's like going to the gym.
Yeah, you can do your exercise.
Khan Academy.
Khan Academy.
And there's
Yeah.
different lessons for chemistry, for the sciences, for math.
Yes. What's another one? Anybody else? Over here. We'll do one more. We're going to go through a list.
You're just making up apps to make me run.
Canvas and Blackboard.
Canvas, Blackboard.
Okay. Okay, now.
Oh, we got one more.
Okay, good.
RefMe for Works Cited.
Good. Tell me about that. I've never heard of that one.
It's called RefMe, and you just take a picture of the UPC, or you enter an ISBN, and it'll do the works cited and internal citation of any format of anything.
Oh, neat.
Everyone's RefMe, like REFME.
Okay.
Maybe
Look at
one
these.
more.
What's happening with us when we get our tutoring, and we talk about academic coaches in a few minutes, because I don't call our tutors anymore, I call them academic coaches. Have you taught them how to use apps to help the students? Have you taught them with Smart Voice Recorder? Who has Smart Voice Recorder? Nobody? That's free. Who has Evernote? Anybody know what it is? Okay, who has my script calculator? Who has Allegro? Who basically has Photomath? This is the hottest one out. It scares me to death.
Dr. Nolting, everyone's writing these down really quickly, but we're going to ask Dr. Nolting to provide us all these resources.
I will.
And then we're going to ask you actually to put these on the website. So there will, in fact, for all of the sessions, for all of the presenters, we are going to ask for any materials you have, and we will have them put on the website. So you do not have to be frantically copying everything down.
Okay. Who has the most famous site ever? Wolfram Alpha? Who's it under? At? How much does it cost? $2. They don't do anything. Scares me to death. So what's happening here? What's happening? The idea is that our students are above us now with apps. They know all this stuff. And we've got to use apps as far as tutoring. So how do you use apps as tutoring? How do we use smart voice recorder? How do we use pictures? What we used to do is tutor, go, yeah, I understand, yeah, you divide by 3, yes, I understand, subtract by 4, yes, I understand polynomials, yes. Then I ask them 3, then basically a few minutes later come back and I don't understand. So what do you do with this? You record it. You have your students record it. You take pictures. You post them on your websites. You post them on your Facebook. You integrate it into your computer system. This is the newest technology out for adaptive. Works great for students with disabilities too. Because the idea now is we've got to use this. Can't use it during the test. You can. And when I teach with the mathematics, I tell instructors now it's photo time, it's video time. They'll take pictures. What do they take pictures of? Me doing a quadratic. They didn't get it. They asked me a question twice. I can't deal with that anymore, right? I gotta move on. Take a picture, take it to your lab. That's what I'm saying now. Take a picture, record it, take it to your lab. And now they're going to walk in with pictures. They're going to walk in with notes. They're going to walk in with this. That's where we're going. We want that. Do they ever lose this? No. What do they review for their tests? These. That's what we're getting into. So I'm not going to go any more of that. We're going to set you up. And there's so many. And I got to do the grammatically one. Anybody heard that one? Where you put in a sentence, a paragraph. I put in some of the stuff I wrote. It was funny. I put it in. It did catch a few spelling errors because I'm not that great in English. Then it said, this material was highly plagiarized. In other words, I stole it from somewhere. I did stole it from me. But it worked out pretty good. Okay, let's get back to this here. And we're going to go into the... Yeah, there's one. Okay, now, here we go. Academic departments, success committees. What the heck is that? What do you do with your repeaters? Anybody do research on repeaters? In math, repeaters in English, repeaters in other classes, repeaters in chemistry? They kill you. Do the research. Repeaters lower success rates. I don't even do basically a early alert system? Have early alert systems? For math, I don't need it. All I got to do is ask 2 questions. Now, the university is a little bit different. Pat and I talked about that last night. 2 questions. One is, are you repeating? Yes, you're in my early alert now. Will be found out. Math, 50% first time, 33% second time, 25% the third time, 4th time you can't find it, you're gone. So the more time you take an algebra class, remember I said algebra, the less time you have to pass it. So we're going to do different. Next one, did you make a C in the previous algebra class and you're taking another algebra class? If you are, you're high risk. I worked with a couple of colleges doing QEPs in Florida. One of them, which I'll not name, they did win the QEP award of the year. We found out that that student made a C in elementary algebra. They had a 78% failure rate in intermediate. You got that? 78% failure rate. What do I call that? Academic malpractice. Start thinking about those words. If we're setting our students up to fail that bad, if you were a doctor, we'll be in jail. Right? So the idea is this. So you've got to look at committees. Anybody have... Let me just ask this one real quick. Who has a committee helping your learning assistance center with a bunch of people on it from across the campus? Anybody have that? Good. Now, who has a committee where students in the math class for the 3rd time, you figure out what's going on and you help that student? Help it for English, help it for reading. Well, they're in your labs. So we got to look at that in a few minutes, what we're going to do. Now, who else do you want to work with? Oh, here we go. You want money? Foundations. Taking the lunch. Ask them what their donors like. Our donors like donating for vets. Guess what? We have vet tutors. They actually paid us to hire vets for tutors. It wasn't out of my budget. They like to have their names on the wall. We gave them a room. They gave us $50,000. That's fine. That's what you're going to look at. You're going to start looking at the foundations, taking lunch. Their constituents want to give money for reasons. You want to know the reasons and tap into that budget. Okay? Let's go to the next one. Collaboration with the English social sciences, psych. You can collaborate with your psych department. Why? Why do you collaborate with your psych department and with your student resources? Students will tell other tutors things they'll never tell us. You know that. They're going to tell us secret things, like, I think I'm going to kill myself. We've got to have the resources for that. That's why I bring psych people in and our counselors in and deal with that. They also say good, positive things. And we also talk about social sciences. I want social science in there because what do the social science people complain about with their students? What can't they do? Write and read. Do they have writing and reading programs? No. You're part of the program. You're going to help them out. Life skills. You're teaching the classes. That's great. You want to teach the classes. You want to help those students and work with them. And the study skills course. We found that general study skills doesn't really help math students, chemistry students, or physics students. But the math study skills does. 1 hour lab courses. Who has a 1 hour lab course that you can set up by the state and you get the FTE for it? Who's asked for it? Can you do that? Yeah. I thought people wanted 1 hour courses through their learning assistance centers and they're claiming the money. That does work. You can have an independent, online, or groups. It really does work. But you're going to get into there and get that information and that funds. Okay. Now, let's start talking a little bit about how to get real money from financial aid. And I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about basically, they have scholarships out, they have financial aid information out. Anybody on the financial aid appeals committee? Anybody have friends in financial aid? Anybody have financial aid workshops with their center? Anybody team up with them? Do it. Why? They have so many scholarships and loans that they never give out. It's unreal. When I was working with my students, I needed money. I went to financial aid. They found me 10 fee waivers. It's just unreal. They have it. You got to work with those students and help them out and see what's going on. Now, switching from tutoring to academic coaches. This is a good one. The best way I found out to get free tutors, train free tutors, we offered an SLS tutor training course in 3 hours. I taught it. Part of that was co-op. I co-opted with the social science department and made co-op, which really means is I actually trained the people, and part of their class experience is doing tutoring for free and training. Okay? Now Peter over here, he's already done it at FSU too. He does a 1 hour class. The idea is that if we can train them and keep them, especially at the community colleges and state universities, I should say, then we can help them. So how do I pay for the tuition? Fee waivers. You give it to the athletic department. This is basically what we want. Give me a fee waiver. I had them all in fee waivers. They didn't pay a dime for the course. Train them. When I started working with them and training them, it became very interesting. Because what I did is I've actually trained them basically on how to assess students, learning styles, test anxiety, locus of control, motivational, math study skills evaluation, study behavior index. We actually did an assessment. We actually did a profile of the student. I had these students basically working with me. They were helping the repeaters, the ones that were dragging us down, the ones that really wanted to help. Then, eventually, I did a second course, which became the super course, and that is people that supervise the tutors. So what you're looking at is different ways to get money, different ways to collaborate, because we're collaborating with the social science department. They love it, because they also just took a few people in there for write to read. Also, some of the advisors put people in there, we train them for advisement. It just worked. It just worked totally well. So when you start looking at this collaboration idea, who can you work with, who can you be successful with, and how can you help them? And I'm just going to show you one more thing as I pull this up real quick. Now, I'm going to make you dyslexic. You ready? Read that real fast. That's my point. I always have that cleared up. let's see, let's go to, we'll do this one right here. Yeah, let's do this one right here. Now, we're working with the math department, English department, whatever. You want them to come to your office. You want them to come to your area. How do they going to come there? What do you offer? We decided at our college that we're going to make up a sheet. When we have referrals coming over, go to the resource center. Well, that didn't work, right? So what's happening here, we'll give you this too, we actually set this thing up where we work with the math department, another one for English, another one for reading, and these are student study skill suggestions. This is what the math instructors have on their desk that basically will do that. Have on their desk. And what will happen there is that this is their stuff here, and then we got down to our stuff. Academic Resource Center. What are ours? What do we do? What are the videotapes? What campus? Title III, what we did there. Pacific Tile, SI, times, places, locations, study skill workshops, assessment surveys. We got there. Learning styles inventories. Practice CPT, virtual math tutorial sites. Do you have a sheet that has all the apps on it and virtual sites students can use? Now you are, because that's what they want. So what happened here is when the student was referred over, the instructor just circled what they wanted them to do. They walked in there and gave it to what I call the learning specialists in there, and then we basically figured out what to do with that student. But the thing is that they already know the resources. On your campuses, you have more resources than yours. I found a technology lab that was open to 12 o'clock at night. Ran to be open to 12 o'clock at night. But basically, we needed some people over there. So that is another resource to do that. And we're going to speed this up a little bit. But this is a sheet you should have for your faculty members, listing everything that you have, updated every time. And then you give it to the advisors too. Because a lot of people will not go to the faculty member to talk about math. They'll go to the advisor. And the advisors just checked off everything also. Okay, we're going to go into current slide. Let's go to this here. Okay, financial aid. Talk to them, work with them. PALs, we already talked about that. Who do you team up with? Your departments. And this is going to get down to the end of this thing real quick. Veterans. Disability services will always team up with you. Hard to get the veterans there, okay? You're going to team up again with financial aid, like I said. And then what we're going to do is get into, I'm going to go right to this one here. About study skills evaluation, I'm going to give you. This one is set up where we can process information. No math. I'll tell you exactly what to do, what study skills to do. And failing this is good. We said that one again. Person made a 51. That's great. She made a 45. That means they had no study skills. Now you're thinking, that's just for community colleges. It's not. My hardest people to work with are Calc 2 students. Because they lived off their IQ for so long, they never studied. They got to Calc 2, they got whacked. And they come back and say, well, I don't know what's going on. Well, I took that evaluation and I didn't do well. I said, yeah, you lived off your IQ. You finally got Calc 2. Now, where do you major? Engineering? I go, well, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. You're going to teach how to study. How do you do that? Well, here, read this, do this. That's the whole setup. Now I'm going to get into this. This is what we're going to get into. And then we got about 5 minutes to do some little group work. Here's my point. You're collaborating with all these departments. Figure out which ones you're going to work with. Go to the math department and you tell them this. We understand that the math department is not only can't be responsible for total math success. Same with English, same with social sciences. You're agreeing with them. Look, you may be picked on or whatever it is, but you're not responsible. There's too many other variables. Let us figure out how to help you. The first thing you want to hit is those computer students, the ones that have the sleeping bags in your labs, right? They come there at 8 o'clock in the morning, they don't read. In fact, if you didn't shut the door, they'll be sleeping in the back room somewhere. So the idea is, what are we going to do with those? Students with disabilities, students who are repeating, we need a plan. You're the key person here. You know who they are. So how do you make a plan? This is a plan of one of the students I work with. The idea is, we're going to set that student down. I'm going to have a committee of people from advisement, people from math, or people from English, people from disability services. This is our student success committee. Remember, repeaters kill us. Repeaters lose FTEs. That's how you talk to your administration. And basically what you're going to do now, you're going to sit down and say, what's going on with this student? This student is Broward College. We gave them some surveys, learning styles. You should have all these types of surveys for free at your facility. You should be advertising in all the SLS classes. Person's a visual learner. Semester goals is a 3.0. Okay? Then what's going to happen is that we're going to get into information, that's it up right there. Then we're going to get strategies. Think the math study skills evaluation. We're actually going to tell them you need note-taking skills, you need to take the computer. And basically, by the way, we watched you as you walked out after using one of those online programs, and you had nothing in your hand. Right? If you click enough, you'll get the right answer. That's a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing is you got the right answer. The bad thing is you think you know. And then you come to take the test. So we're going to give you a note-taking system where after you click twice, we're going to show you what to write down, how to process it, and review it. Review it. They're going, what do you mean you have to review it? Review it. It's not in long-term memory. And I talked about long-term memory and how you process it. Because we got to have something with them. So we're going to talk about them using that and processing that. And I'm going to give them Wolfram Alpha. Tell them where it is. Then with the motivational strategy, see the instructor, work with the tutors, decrease procrastination. And then your mentor is Denise Turcotte, that actually exists. So now that student's going to work now with Denise and check in every week, every other day. That's the plan. That plan for veterans is a little bit different. It goes in a vet file. That plan, basically, for students with disabilities, goes in a disability file. So if they're looking at documentation for course substitutions or documentation for payment, it's there. Also, the plan means we told them something. Also, we didn't blame them the fact they didn't pass math for the third time. We just said we're going to teach you better learning strategies and techniques. That gives them hope. Hope changes behavior. The problem is we've got to be a coach, not a cheerleader. The coach tells you how to do it right. The cheerleader just tells you how to do it harder. And I've seen too many cheerleaders. We need coaches. We need to help out. And with these students, we can make them successful. And it doesn't matter if it's math, English, or history. It's the same thing. Chemistry, the same thing. The only course I ever failed at Florida State, oh my, no, I don't even think about it. Organic Chemistry 2. Most difficult course I ever took in my life. And I decided after that maybe my major wasn't there. So I switched to something easier math. But anyway, so what we're going to do right now, because we talked about things, I'm just going to do a little review. You know, what can you do? What can your areas do? I'm just going to leave this out there. How can you offer workshops? How do you get them to facilitate with you? You make a problem up that already exists, you help them solve the problem. You got to have team members. So what I want you to do the next 5 minutes, because we've got about 5 minutes or so. I mentioned a lot of things. You got other things up here too. At your table, after what I mentioned, I want at your table to think of 2 different ways you can collaborate with other departments. And I don't care if it's going down to the people in financial aid and say, let me help you, or let them help us. It's something you can do. 2 different ways you can collaborate with other areas. If it's the chemistry, how do you work with them? And then we're going to actually kind of report back real quick. So this is my time to turn off the mic. I know what I'm doing. Jennifer hasn't done this yet, but she's going to walk around with me. Just like when I do group work, that's what I do. I walk around, I stare. But I'll turn off the mic. Okay, we've got about 1 more minute. So far we talked about tutoring and mandating, and we talked about money. I'm not surprised about the money thing. Because you want more of it. Be more successful. So you got 1 more minute to wrap it up. Okay, 1 more minute, then I'm going to close it. Okay, Jennifer's going to walk around. We got about 3 minutes, and I'm going to kind of wrap this up. Who has a good idea?
Todd does.
Go for it. Remember, you can steal all these. Remember, stealing's good here. Go.
Yeah, one of the ideas I had was taking students that failed a course the first time but passed it the second time, and getting them all together with the faculty for that department and having them talk about what they had done different, what they had learned from the first time to the second time, and maybe do ways that the faculty and the students could interact and help other students be more successful in those types of settings.
And whatever they did, you start offering in your center. That's it. Whatever they did, they're going to tell you whatever they did. You try to convert that to in your center and let the math, English, or reading faculty know about it. Good deal. What's another one?
Maybe without sleep, people good ideas, huh?
But so to preface this, most of our tutoring is very STEM heavy, but we're implementing academic coaching at the moment. So we'll be collaborating and getting each department to offer a mentor, either faculty member or graduate student. So when the student comes in needing study skill help, we can give them general study ideas. But here's a person who has been successful in this field and might be able to help share what their success was like and allow them to connect with faculty on campus. Also leads to the high impact practices.
That's very good. When I started doing my academic coaching, I didn't pick them. I'll call my friends over at the SLS class. Who made an A in the study skills class? Who's personable? Who wants to interact? They send me their names. I check to see if they had financial aid eligibility. Got that? I got their names first, then I went to financial aid. And they told me who was eligible. That's the people I hired because they didn't have to pay me. That's a good idea. I want a couple more.
Actually, I can't take credit for this one. It came up in last year's keynote address with Senator McGuire, and we haven't done it yet, but we know we're going to. And that is the idea of when a faculty member has to cancel class, instead of having them cancel class, you put out a note that says, just tell us, we'll come and do a study skills workshop for your class. Don't cancel your class, so that way you get to infuse the study skills into that content area. So I thought that was a great idea. Haven't implemented it yet, but it's on the list.
You're helping the faculty now. Got that? And they owe you. You got that part, right?
Yes, good morning, everyone. Actually, I shared a different one, but I wanted, this is new and initiative and a partnership between student services staff, tutoring staff, and the faculty, pretty much trying to increase the number of students who are applying for foundation scholarships at Palm Beach State College, Beltway campus. And so what we're doing is obviously we found that several students have some challenges with the writing piece that is necessary for the foundation scholarships. I've reached out to some of our English faculty. Actually, 3 of them have agreed to partner with student services, financial aid, and do some workshops. And we're also going to bring in our English tutors to then do a follow-up with the students. So we're working on that right now, and it will be a new initiative.
I got a title, Writing for Money. When we do vets, it's vets, get your money. I mean, it's really simple, because that's what they get. Vets get your money. With disabilities, we do the same thing. I'm going to kind of wrap things up. Don't forget about the money at the foundation people. And I was amazed when I went over to talk to them. They said, oh, nobody comes to talk to us. So the first time I talked to them, I didn't ask them for money. I just said, what are you doing in this life? What are you doing? What's going on? Next time, like I said, I went over and got me $2,000 for vets. Worked out really well. So here's your challenges. What can you do? What can you set up? Who can you collaborate with? Who can you team up with? And the idea is that you pick the ones based on your needs and your friends. But you got to get in the financial aid area. You got to go over and talk to them and say, where can we help you? We talked about this back there. Okay. Who can do math? Yay! Good. 67% rule. Anybody understand what I'm talking about? Standards of academic progress. Don't have 67% 2 times in a row. What happens? As you get an appeal, you lose your what? Your financial aid. Those people hate telling people they're losing their aid. Got that? They get mad at it. They write nasty notes. They have an appeals committee. Now, I can have a 3.0 GPA and be on financial aid probation, right? You're going to help them. Well, let me show what we can do for you. And by the way, it needs to make some money. That's how you start teaming up. Same with the academics. Back here, we had somebody said if anybody went below 2.0, they were referred to them automatically. Now you're going to get into automatics. Do you want to get into automatic systems? Where basically, with not SI now, with PAL, we had it set up that he didn't. You came in, took low test scores, you had to go to the lab, period, until you made a B on your math test. Once you made a B, that was you took it out. Most of them never left them. They stayed. Last thing, how do you mandate courses? How do you mandate this? Because what we're looking at is this area. If you start teaching them, they'll start coming. One more thing, then we're done. With community colleges and colleges, like my state college of Florida, we're really into the bills and what's happening. People are blaming the state. If we don't blame the state, blame the university. Well, actually blame Connecticut, because they just eliminated all developmental ed. Got that? It's gone. Texas, first developmental class. Well, they don't really have it. They just have modules. You all should go to college algebra. North Carolina. Modules kind of, but everybody starts at pre-count at the community college. This trend is coming. So the idea is, how do you help yourself? Set up those repeaters. Set up the modules. Tell them what's going on. Now, universities, I haven't left you out. In the past, when I was at FSU and USF, and I taught at USF grad school and all that kind of stuff, they didn't care about the students that much as far as retention. They wanted to know how much money I brought in. And that was $1.2 million, $3.4 million, $5.8 million. What's happening now with the community colleges and universities? They're becoming similar as the state colleges. The universities are now caring about retention because who is breathing down their neck? State legislators, cut them out, get rid of them. So now what's happening is basically they're looking at retention at the universities, Florida State, South Florida, Central Florida, and you think they're going to go to the faculty member who brought in $2.3 million in a grant and tell them, I'm going to fire you because you have a poor pass rate? No! Who is the administration going to look to? You guys and ladies. Who are they going to blame? You guys and ladies. Does that give you power? Yes. At the universities now, you need to help all these people. You want extra help. Collaboration. You go to the departments, the deans, they're getting the pressure. We're going to help you. We're going to help you. That's what I want to end at. You are collaborating to help other people and help yourself and help the students become more successful. Either through teaching courses, getting more money, those repeaters, and you will be successful. Because in South Florida, they're already doing it. They have an unbelievable success rate there. People want to build their lab, and I know they have support. Anyway, thank you for this first part. I'm going to go more details in my talk later on, the civics, but I just got to applaud all of you because you are doing a good job. Now, how do you applaud with this mic? Let's do that. Got the ideas, and just thank you again for inviting me, okay?